Hello students. So in this lecture we shall solve all the problems given in the model question paper which has just been released by the State Board of Karnataka. So all the problems are very interesting and they're pretty simple. So make sure that you watch the entire video to get the solution of all the problems. And before I start, let me wish all the students all the very best, those who will be taking up the SSLC 10th examination this year. So let's begin with section 1. So in the first section you have 8 problems and all these 8 problems are multiple choice. So you need to select the right answer and also show the steps of working. So the first problem is, if the pair of linear equations x plus 2y equals 3 and 2x plus 4y equals k are coincident or they coincide, then we need to find the value of k. So you need to find the value of k here. So the coefficient of x is 1, y is 2. So a1 by a2 equals b1 by b2 equals c1 by c2. So this is the condition if both the lines coincide. So what is a1? a1 is 1, a2 is 2 here, b1 is 2, b2 is 4 and c1 is 3, and I need to find the value of k and they are all equal. So we know that the ratio is 1 by 2. So if the numerator is 3, then definitely k has to be 2 into 3, which is 6. So you observe the options. So you find that the option is B. So the first problem, the right option is B. So let me write the option is B and the answer is 6. The second one, the nth term is an equals 4n plus 5 and I need to find a3. So definitely to find the third term, n equals 3. So therefore a3 equals 4 into 3 plus 5. So 12 plus 5 gives me 17. So you find that 17 corresponds to the option D here. So the second one is D and the answer is 17. The third one, the roots of the quadratic equation x squared plus 6x plus k are equal. So it's been given that they are equal. So we need to find the value of k. So if the roots of the quadratic equation are equal, then definitely b squared minus 4ac equals 0. And we know that if I compare this with ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. Now a is 1, b is 6 and c is k. So let me substitute these values. So b squared is 36 minus 4 into a is 1 into k equals 0. 36 equals 4k, or k equals 36 by 4, which is equal to 9. So this corresponds to the option A. So therefore the third option is A and the answer is 9. Now the fourth one, we need to find the value of sine 60 degrees into cos 30 degrees. So we have to know the value. What is sine 60? Sine 60 is root 3 by 2 and cos 30 is also root 3 by 2. Very simple, you need to multiply these two. So root 3 into root 3 is 3, 2 into 2 is 4, so the answer is 3 by 4. So this value 3 by 4 definitely corresponds to the option C. So therefore the fourth one is C and the answer is 3 by 4. So let's move on to the next one. Find the distance of the coordinate P4, 3 from the x-axis. So we have the x-axis here. This is x and this is y. And let's assume that the point is 4, 3. So we need to find the distance of the point 4, 3 from the x-axis. So you know that the first one is the x coordinate. If I drop a perpendicular onto the x-axis, I get 4, 0. And onto the y-axis I get 0, 3. So I get 0, 3. So what is the distance of this point from the x-axis? It is the height. So therefore the height is 3 here. So therefore the distance of the point 4, 3 from the x-axis is 3. So the answer is of course 3. So what does 3 correspond to? So 3 correspond to B, option B, where the answer is 3 units. Next, sixth one, A straight line intersecting a circle at 2 points is definitely called as a secant. So you have a circle and a straight line which intersects at these 2 points. So what are the other options? The other option is tangent. Definitely a tangent does not touch the circle at 2 points, radius and the normal. So therefore the option is definitely A, which is secant. So sixth one, the option is A and the answer is secant. Problem 7. The volume of the cylinder is 300 meter cube. Then find the volume of a cone having the same radius and height as that of the cylinder. So we need to find the volume of a cone. So volume of cone I need to find. So we know that the volume of the cone, so volume of cone is nothing but 1/3 volume of cylinder. So since it's been given that the volume of the cylinder is 300 meter cube, and then we need to find the volume of the cone. So therefore the volume of the cone is equal to 1/3 into volume of the cylinder, which is 300, which is 100 meter cube. So therefore the right option is D. So the seventh one is D and the answer is 100 meter cube. And then we move on to the last one. The surface area of a sphere of radius 7 centimeter is. So I want to find the surface area of the sphere. So we know that the surface area of the sphere, what is the expression? The surface area of the sphere is 4 pi r square. Right? So once you remember this expression, we know the value of r, which is 7. So we have 4 into pi is 22/7 into 7 into 7. So 1 7 gets cancelled, so it is 88 into 7. So 88 into 7 gives me 616 centimeter square. So 616 centimeter square, so you have the option which corresponds to C. So the answer is C, 8th one, where the answer is 616 centimeter square. Right? So this is how you need to show the working and as well as mark the right option. And do not forget to include the units wherever possible. Wherever it has been given in the problem, you have to include the units. So now let's move on to section 2, where you need to answer the following in one sentence. So problem 9 which states that how many solutions have a pair of linear equations? So the two equations are 2x plus 3y minus 9 equal to 0 and 4x plus 6y minus 18 equal to 0. So how many solutions do they have? To find the number of solutions, what do? I perform A1 by A2, B1 by B2 and C1 by C2. So what is A1? A1 is 2, B1 is 3, C1 is minus 9. Similarly, this is A2, 4 and B2 is 6 and C2 is minus 18. So I have 2 by 4 and you have 3 by 6 and you have minus 9 by minus 18. So when I cancel them, I get 1 by 2 in all the cases. So this means that A1 by A2 equals B1 by B2 equals C1 by C2. Since they are all equal, what is the condition? These two lines definitely coincide, so you have infinitely many solutions. Right? So the answer is infinitely many solutions. So moving on to the 10th one, write the standard form of the quadratic equation. So the standard form of the quadratic equation is of course ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. But do not forget the condition where a should not be equal to 0. Right? So if a is equal to 0, then we don't have the quadratic equation standard form. So do not forget to write that a should not be equal to 0. So let's move on to the next one, 11th one. Find the value of tan theta minus cot 90 minus theta. So this is a very simple one. So we know that cot 90 minus theta is tan theta. So I have tan theta minus, so this is nothing but again tan theta, which is equal to 0. So the answer is 0. Very simple. 12th one, given in the figure angle B is 90 degrees. So it's been given that angle B is 90 degrees and angle A equals angle C and BC is 10 centimeters. So we need to find tan 45. So all the data which is being given is absolutely redundant. So you don't have to waste time because tan 45 is known to us. So we know that tan 45 is 1, so you can just write tan 45 equals 1. So there is no need to have all the data. If tan 45 is asked, you just write it as 1 and that is it. So now moving on to the next one, write the coordinates of the midpoints of the line segment joining the points A, x1, y1 and B, x2, y2. So we know that the midpoint is given by, so if the midpoint is Q, x comma y, it is nothing but x1 plus x2 by 2 and y1 plus y2 by 2. Right? A very simple question. 14th one. Find the median of the scores 5, 8, 14, 16, 19 and 20. Now we find that the data is ungrouped, right? And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 of them. So it's been asked that you need to find the median. So to find the median, we have to consider the middle two because you have even number of data here. So consider the middle two. Take the average 14 plus 16 by 2, which is nothing but 30 by 2, which is 15. If you have odd number of terms, then of course the middle value will be the median. But since you have even number, you take the two middle terms, take the average and you get the value, which is 15. State Thales theorem. So Thales theorem is also called as basic proportionality theorem. So you just have to write the definition, which is the ratio of any two corresponding sides. So I'll just write it very briefly. Ratio of any two corresponding sides in two equilateral triangles is always the same. So in two equilateral triangle is always the same. So make sure that you write the exact definition. So I've just written the theorem in brief. Now problem 16, write the formula to find the curved surface area of a frustum of a cone. Right? So you have the figure which is being given. So this is the curve. You need to find the curved surface area of a frustum of a cone. So this is R1 and you have R2, right? And then H is given. So make sure that L has not been given here. So since L has not been given, we know that the curved surface area of a frustum of the cone is nothing but pi into R1 plus R2 into L. But since L has not been given, what is L? We know that L equals root of h square plus R1 minus R2 the whole square. So I substitute the value of L here. So therefore the curved surface area of a frustum of the cone is nothing but pi into R1 plus R2 into root of h square plus R1 minus R2 the whole square units. So you have to remember that since L has not been mentioned, H has been mentioned, I need to write L in terms of H, R1 and R2. So you need to mention the curved surface area, that is L, in terms of H, R1 and R2 because these three parameters have been mentioned. Right? So this is the expression. Do not forget to write square units. So now this completes section 2. And now we move on to section 3. So again we have, so problem 17, we need to find the 25th term of an arithmetic progression where the progression is 2, 6, 10, 14 and so on. Right? So we know that what is A25? A25 is A plus. N is 25 minus 1, which is 24 into D. Here what is A? A is 2 and D is nothing but 6 minus 2, which gives me 4. So A is 2 here, D is 4. So let me substitute that 2 plus 24 into 4, which gives me 2 plus 96, which is 98. So A25 is 98. So let's move on to the next one. 18. Find the sum of first 20 terms of the arithmetic progression, which is 3, 8, 13 using the formula. So I need to find S20. So what is the expression? N by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. So n is 20. What is a? A is 3, the first term. And d, find the difference, the common difference, 8 minus 3. So 8 minus 3 gives me 5. So now I've got all the values there. So let me substitute all the values. So I get 20 by 2 into 2 into a is 6 plus 19 into 5. So I get 10 into 6 plus. So what is 19 into 5? It is 95. So I get 10 into 101. So which gives me 1010. So the answer is 1010. Now there is an OR. So either I solve this question or I solve the next one. So find the sum of the first 30 positive integers which are divisible by 6. So I need to find the first 30 positive integers which are divisible by 6. So they should be divisible by 6. So we should not start from 1 because the first number which is divisible by 6 is 6 itself. So we start from 6. So I need to find 6 plus 12 plus 18 and so on. And how many terms? 30 terms. So what is A? A is 6. D is of course 12 minus 6 is 6 again. N is 30. So I have the expression. So S 30 equals N by 2 is 30 by 2. 2 into A, 2 into 6 is 12. Plus N minus 1. 30 minus 1 is 29 into 6. So we get 15 into 12 plus. So you have 29 into 6, which is 174. So 174 plus 12. So I have 15 into 681. So 186 into 15. So you get the value as 2790. So make sure that you do the multiplication properly. So you get the value as 2790. So problem 19, we need to solve these two equations. So they have not specified any method, so you can use any one of the methods. So let us try to solve this by eliminating one of the variable. So if I add these two, y and y gets cancelled. So you have 5x equals 20. So x equals 20 by 5, which gives me 4. So substituting the value of 4 in one of the equations. So you get 3 into 4 plus y equals 15. So 3 into 4 is 12. So I get y equals 15 minus 12, which is equal to 3. So x is 4 and y is 3. So this is the answer what I get. So you can do it in any method. So problem 20, we need to solve this equation by using the quadratic equation formula. So we know that the standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. So what is a? A is 1. So let me write the values. A is 1, b is minus 3 and c is also 1. And how do you find the value of x? X is minus b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a, isn't it? So now let me substitute the values there. So we have x equals minus b, minus of minus 3 plus or minus root of b square, minus 3 the whole square, minus 4 into a is 1 into c is 1 divided by 2 into 1. So we get 3 plus or minus 9 minus 4 divided by 2. So I get it as 3 plus or minus 5 by 2. So what are the two values? One value is 3 plus root 5 by 2 and the other value is 3 minus root 5 by 2. So x is definitely equal to 3 plus root 5 by 2 and the other value is 3 minus root 5 by 2. So these are the two values. So let's move on to the next one, 21. So problem 21, find the discriminant of the quadratic equation 2x squared minus 6x plus 3 equal to 0 and hence decide on the nature of the roots. So we need to find the discriminant. The discriminant is nothing but delta, which is b squared minus 4ac. So a is 2, b is minus 6, c equals 3. Make sure that you do not miss out the sign. So what is delta here? B square, which is minus 6 the whole square, minus 4 into a is 2 into c is 3. So I get 36 minus 4 into 2 is 8 into 3 is 24. So you get the value as 12. So the discriminant delta is equal to 12 and this is greater than 0. So since the discriminant is greater than 0, therefore the roots are distinct and real. So you have distinct and real roots. So this is very important. So since this is greater than 0, or you have another question, prove that the quadratic equation x square plus ax minus 4 equal to 0 has distinct and real roots. Now if the roots have to be distinct and real, then you have delta which has to be greater than 0. So the discriminant has to be greater than 0. So here a equals 1, b equals a, c equals minus 4. So I have delta equals b square, which is a square, minus 4 into a is 1 into minus 4. So we get a square plus 16. So you get a square plus 16. Now we need to prove that this is always distinct and real. That is, the roots are distinct and real. So what do we do? How do we prove it? Now let us assume that the value of a is 0. If the value of a is 0, then I get delta equals 16, which is greater than 0. For any other value of a, it can be positive or negative. Because I have a square, the value will always be positive. Let's assume that if a is 1, I get 1 square plus 16, which is 17. If I have minus 1 also, I get minus 1 square plus 16, which is again positive and greater than 0. So therefore we find that this quadratic equation x square plus ax minus 4 equals 0 will always have the roots which are real and distinct. So moving on with the next one, 22. Find the distance between point A, which is 2, 3 and B, which is 10, minus 3. So we have the distance formula, which is square root of x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. And what is x1 and y1? So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. Alright. So therefore let me substitute the values. What is x2? x2 is 10 minus 2 the whole square plus y2 is minus 3 the whole square. So I get 8 square plus 6 square. So 8 square is 64 plus 36, which gives me root 100, which is equal to 10 units. So the distance is 10 units. Now you have problem 23. Problem 23, draw a line segment. So here problem 23, I have a line AB equal to 8 centimeters and I need to divide it in the ratio 3:2 by using geometrical construction. I'll very roughly show it how you need to do it. You have to do it properly. So now you draw AB of length 8 centimeters. Okay, so this is the first step. So make sure that you draw AB of length 8 centimeters. After you draw AB, draw another line with an acute angle here. And then using your compass, take a fixed length and mark 5 arcs. So such that AA1 equals A1, A2 equals A2, A3. That means this distance, these distances are all equal. 4 and 5. So 4 and 5. Alright. So now what do? You have to join A5 with B. So once you join A5 with B, you measure this angle. So with the same angle here and with the line which is parallel to this, you draw another line from this point A3 to intersect the line AB. So let me call this as C. So this will be in the ratio 3:2. So make sure that you draw it properly. I've just drawn it very roughly to show the procedure. Make sure that you draw AB to scale and then draw a line which is making an angle acute. So therefore you take the length such that AA1 equals A1, A2 and so on, and then join A5 with B, and then with the same angle join A3 and a point on the line AB. So here what happens, AC is to CB will be equal to 3:2. Alright, so now let's move on to problem 24. So in problem 24, given the figure, we need to find we need to find sine theta and cos alpha. Now what is sine theta? So this is angle theta here. Sine theta is opposite side, which is 5, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 13, and then cos alpha. Now this is angle alpha here. So adjacent side is 5 and then the hypotenuse is 13. So sine theta is 5 by 13 and cos alpha is 5 by 13. So very simple problems. Now we have completed all the problems in this section, which is section 3. So let's move on to section 4, where each problem carries 3 marks. So section 4, we have problem 25. The sum of two natural numbers is 9 and the sum of the reciprocals is 9 by 20. So we need to find the two numbers. So the sum of two numbers, so let the two numbers be x and y. So x plus y equals 9 and 1 by x plus 1 by y equals 9 by 20. Alright, so what has to be done? So the easiest way is, let me substitute y equals 9 minus x. So from this equation I have y equals 9 minus x. So let me substitute this here. Alright. So I have 1 minus x plus 1 divided by 9 minus x equals 9 by 20. Now if I take the LCM, I get 9 minus x plus x divided by 9 minus x into x equals 9 by 20. So x gets cancelled, so I am left with 9 divided by 9x minus x square equals 9 by 20. 9 and 9 can cancel, so I have 20 equals 9x minus x square, or if I bring all of them to LHS, I have x square minus 9x plus 20 equal to 0. So I have 20 here. So the product of two numbers is 20 and the sum of two numbers is minus 9. So we know that 4 into 5 gives me 20, minus 4 minus 5 gives me minus 9. So this can be written as x square minus 4x minus 5x plus 20 equal to 0, x into x minus 4 minus 5 into x minus 4 equals 0. So I have x minus 4 into x minus 5 equals 0. So what do I get? So I get x equal to 4. So if x is equal to 4, then what happens? I substitute value of x equal to 4. I get 9 minus 4 gives me 5. If x is equal to 5, so I substitute the value of 5 here. 9 minus 5 is 4, so y equals 4. Right? So if x is 4, y is 5. If x is 5, then y is definitely equal to 4. Or the perimeter and the area of a rectangular ground is 80 meters and 384 meters square. Find the length and breadth. Right? So the perimeter, so this is a rectangular ground, so I have length and breadth. So what is the perimeter? The perimeter is 2 into L plus B equals 80. So I have L plus B equals 40. And then what about the other one? The other one is the area. L into B equals 384. So I have L plus B equals 40, L into B equals 384. So now what is L? L is 40 minus B from this equation. So let me substitute the value of L here. So I have 40 minus B into B equals 384. So you get 40B minus B square equals 384. So if I take this two RHS, I get B square minus 40B plus 384 equals 0. Right? So how do I find the value of B? Let me divide 384 by 2. So when I do that, so I get 192, again by 2 I get 96, then again by 2 I get 48, then again by 2 I get 24. So if I observe, this is 24, 2 into 2 is 4, 4 into 2 is 8, 8 into 2 is 16. I have 16 here. So 24 into 16 will give me 384, whereas minus 24 minus 16 will give me minus 40. So I've got the two values. So we have b square minus 24b minus 16b plus 384 equals 0. b into b minus 24 minus 16 into b minus 24 equals 0. So I have b minus 16, b minus 24 equals 0. So again you have two values just like how we got it here. b minus 16 equals 0. So b is 16. So if b is 16, what is L? L will be 24. Or if b minus 24 equals 0, that means b equals 24, then what is L? L is 16. So these are the two values what we get. Both the values are right. So one of them is 16, the other one is 24. So question number 26, again you have two parts. You can solve one of them. So we need to prove that LHS equals RHS. So let me begin with the LHS. So we know that cot is cos by sine. So I have sine theta divided by 1 minus cos theta by sine theta plus cos theta divided by 1 minus sine theta by cos theta. So if I take the LCM here, so I get sine theta. So this becomes sine theta minus cos theta divided by sine theta. So I'll take it to the numerator, so it becomes sine square theta plus cos theta. So I have cos theta minus sine theta divided by cos theta. So that cos theta goes to the numerator, so I get cos square theta. Now here I have cos minus sine, so let me take minus sine. So I have sine square theta divided by sine theta minus cos theta. If I take minus sine common, I get cos square theta divided by sine theta minus cos theta. The denominators are common, so I can combine them. So I have sine theta minus cos theta, and here I have sine square theta minus cos square theta. So this is a square minus b square is a minus b into a plus b. So this can be written as sine theta minus cos theta into sine theta plus cos theta divided by sine theta minus cos theta. So these two can get cancelled. So you have sine theta plus cos theta, which is the required answer. So you have an odd question, or we need to prove that cos theta minus 2 cos cube theta divided by 2 sine cube theta minus sine theta is equal to cot theta. Now if you observe the numerator, what is common? Cos theta is common. So I take cos theta, I get 1 minus 2 cos square theta divided by, in the denominator I have sine theta common. So I take sine theta, I get 2 sine square theta minus 1. So let's not touch the denominator, let me only touch the numerator. We know that cos square theta is 1 minus sine square theta, right? So I have cos theta into 1 minus 2 into, what is cos square theta? It is 1 minus sine square theta divided by sine theta into 2 sine square theta minus 1. So now what happens? I get cos theta 1 minus, so if I remove the brackets 2, and then I have minus 2 into minus, I get plus 2 sine square theta divided by sine theta into 2 sine square theta minus 1. So you have 2 sine square theta, and here it is 1 minus 2. What is 1 minus 2? Minus 1. Minus 1. So I can write this as 2 sine square theta minus 1. So I have 2 sine square theta minus 1 expression. These two can get cancelled. So I have cos theta by sine theta, which is cot theta. So that is your required answer. So we have completed problem 26. Problem 27. From the point on the ground, the angles of elevation of the top and bottom of a transmission tower fixed at the top of 20 meters high building are 60 degrees and 45 degrees. So you find that BDC is 45 and ADC is 60 degrees. So we need to find the height of this tower, which is AC. So let us assume that AB is x. Now let us consider tan 45. So considering triangle BCD, so I consider triangle BCD. So what is tan 45? Tan 45 is BC by CD, that is opposite side by adjacent side, which is 20 by CD. So tan 45 is 1. So 1 equals 20 by CD. So CD is 20 meters. So this is 20 meters. So after we find CD, let me apply tan 60 by considering the triangle ACD. So tan 60 is opposite side, which is AC, divided by the adjacent side, which is CD. Now tan 60 is root 3 equals AC is x plus 20 divided by CD is 20. Alright, so now we have 20 into root 3 equals x plus 20, or x equals 20 root 3 minus 20. Now I need to find out AC. Now this x is nothing but AB. AC is AB plus BC, which is AB is 20 root 3 minus 20 plus 20. So 20 gets cancelled. So 20 root 3 meters is the height of the tower. So AC is 20 root 3. So moving on to the question 28. Find K if, so we need to find K if these 3 points are collinear. Now if these 3 points are collinear, we know that the area of the triangle is equal to 0. Now what is the area of the triangle? The area of the triangle is actually given by half into. Now the formula is very easy to remember. So I have x1 into y2 minus y3 plus x2 into y3 minus y1 plus x3 into y1 minus y2. So it's very easy to remember 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2. Now what are the values of x1? So we know that this is x1, y1, x2, y2 and x3, y3. So this should be equal to 0. So let me substitute the values. So I have half into x1 is 2 into y2 is 2 minus k plus x2 is minus 4, brackets have to be put, and then y3 is k minus of minus 2. Then you have plus x3 is minus 7, and then you have y1 minus y2, minus 2, and this should be equal to 0. So this implies half into, so 2 into 2 is 4 minus 2k, and here I have minus 4k, this is plus 2 into minus 4, which is minus 8. Here this is minus 4 minus 7, so that's going to be plus 28, it should be equal to 0. So I have half into 28 minus 8 is 20 plus 4 is 24, and here I have minus 6k equal to 0. So half cannot be equal to 0, so therefore 24 minus 6k equals 0, or 6k equals 24 by taking this to the other side, or k equals 24 by 6, or k is equal to 4. Right? So when the value of k is equal to 4, we find that all these 3 points ABC would be collinear, and therefore the area of the triangle would be equal to 0. So problem 29, we need to find the mean using direct method or mode. So let us solve one of them. So problem 29, we need to find the mean using direct method or mode. So let us first solve this problem. So given the class interval 5 to 15 and the frequency, so remember that xi is nothing but the lower, so you find that xi is nothing but the lower limit. So xi is the lower limit plus upper limit by 2. So 5 plus 15 by 2 is 20 by 2, which is 10. 15 plus 25 by 2, which is 40 by 2, which is 20, so on. So I can just write 30 here, 40 and 50. Next, find the summation. So summation fi. So here you have 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 2. So I get 20. Next, find out xi into fi. So 10 into 4 is 40, 20 into 3 is 60, 30 into 6 is 180, 40 into 5 is 200, and 50 into 2 is 100. So now I need to find summation fi xi. So add up all of them, 0 I get. So this is 18, 8 with a 1 carry, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I get 580. So we get 580. How do I find the mean? The mean is nothing but summation fi xi divided by summation fi, which is 580 divided by 20. So which gives me 29. So this is the answer. So now the next one is mode. So we need to find the mode. So to find the mode, calculate the range where you have maximum frequency. So I realize that the maximum frequency occurs in this range, in the range 20 to 30. Alright, so therefore we know that h is nothing but 30 minus 20, which gives me 10, and then I need to define f0, f1 and f2. So this becomes f0, this becomes f1, and this becomes f2, and the lower limit of the modal range is L, which is 20. So we know the expression for mode is equal to L plus f1 minus f0 divided by 2f1 minus f0 minus f2 into h. So this is the expression you need to remember. So let us substitute all the values. We know that L is 20 plus f1 minus f0, which is 15 minus 9 divided by 2f1 is 30 minus f0 is 9 minus 11 into h. H is of course 10. So now when we calculate, we get 20 plus, so here I have 6, 15 minus 9 is 6, and 9 and 11 is 20. So I get 30 minus 20, which is 10, into 10. So 10 gets cancelled, so I get 26. So the mode value is nothing but equal to 26. So problem 30 is very simple. So these are problems where you can really save a lot of time. So if you go through the problem, you have the table which gives the production of yield per hectare of wheat of 100 farms of a village. Draw more than type Ojai for the data. So when you look at the table here, you can see the problem on your screen. So when you look, you actually have the production yield. So we have the production yield kg per hectare, and you have the cumulative frequency, isn't it? And then you have more than or equal to 50, 55, 60, 65, 70 and 75. And this is going to be 100, 98, 90, 78, 54 and 60. So what do? You have to draw to scale. I'll draw roughly. So this is the production yield in kg per hectare, and this happens to be your cumulative frequency. So you have 100. So I have 50, 55, 60, 65, 70 and 75. So I need to draw the more than type Ojai for the given data, that is more than type, right? And what is being given, it is actually more than or equal to 50. So more than or equal to 50 is 100. So for 50 it is 100. For 55 it is 98. And then for 60 it's going to be 90. So somewhere here, so it should be 90. So make sure that you draw it properly on a graph sheet. And then 65 it's going to be 78. and then for 70 it's going to be 54, and then for 75 it's going to be 60. So when you combine or join all these points, you get something like this. Alright, so from 100 to 98 you get a graph like this. So this is a very simple problem. So let's move on to problem 31. So problem 31 again is a proof, which I'll not be doing it. So prove that the tangent at any point of a circle is perpendicular to the radius through the point of contact. So what do you have to prove? You have the circle and then you have the tangent. Alright, so let this point be O and let this tangent be xy. So let me drop a perpendicular at this point. So this is P here. So we find that the tangent actually touches the circle at only one point P. So we need to prove that OP is perpendicular to xy. Right? So I hope you can do the proof. The proof is in the textbook. By considering any point outside the circle on the line xy, we find that the line OQ is always greater than OP. So OP is the line of minimum distance from the center of the circle to the line xy. So this proves that the tangent at any point of a circle is always perpendicular to the radius through the point of contact. Again, problem 32 is a construction problem. Draw a pair of tangents to a circle of radius 4 centimeters. Right? So you have a circle of radius 4 centimeters which are inclined to each other at an angle 70 degrees, and write the measure of its length. So here I have a point and this is the radius of the circle, which is 4, and there are two tangents. And what is this angle? This angle is 70 degrees, which is being given here. So if this is 70 degrees, what happens if I join these two? The point, say let these 2 points be P and Q, and this angle is definitely going to be 110 because it's going to be 180 minus 70, right? So the opposite angles of a quadrilateral, so this is going to be 110. So you have to do the construction, right? So I leave it as it is. So I hope you can do the construction very carefully, do it properly. So you consider, say, the radius first, draw the radius of length 4 centimeters, draw the circle, and then consider 110 degrees, draw a line, and with arcs draw the tangents at these 2 points so that it joins at a point, and this angle is going to be 70 degrees. And now we also need to find this distance. You can actually measure this distance using your scale, or if they ask you to calculate using the formula, so this represents, say, the distance D. So we know that this is a right angle triangle. So if this is L, so we know that L is nothing but root of D square minus R square. So remember, D is not the diameter but the length of the point of intersection of these two tangents with the center of the circle. So make sure that you draw the construction correctly. So we'll move on to the next problem. So problem 33, a right circular cone of height 20 centimeters and base radius 5 centimeters is melted. So we have a right circular cone. The base is 5. So the radius is 5 centimeters here. And what has been given, the height of the cone is 20. So this is 20. Right? So the right circular cone is actually melted. So when it is melted, we actually are talking about the volume. And it is melted into a solid sphere. So we need to find the radius. So let this radius be R1 and let this radius be R2. So therefore the volume of the cone, will always be equal to volume of the sphere. Because here this cone has been melted and it has been cast into a sphere, so the volumes will be the same. So I have 1 by 3, volume of the cone is pi R1 square h. And what is volume of the sphere? It is 4 by 3 pi R2 cube. So 1 by 3 gets cancelled, pi gets cancelled. So R1 square is 25 into height is 20 equals 4 into r2 cube. So this is what I need to find. So let me cancel 4 and 20, it is 5. So 25 into 5 is 125 is r2 cube. And what is r2? It is cube root of 125. So we know that 125 is nothing but 5 into 5 into 5. So r2 is 5 centimeters. A very simple problem. So or we have another problem which states that a solid sphere of radius 3 centimeters is actually melted and reformed by stretching it into a cylinder shaped wire of length 9 meters. So I have the volume of the sphere which is 4 by 3 pi r1 cube. So let me call the radius of the sphere as r1 equal to the volume of the cylinder which is pi r2 square h. So pi can be cancelled. Now r1 is in centimeters whereas the height is in meters. So let me convert this to centimeters. So we know that 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So I have 9 meters is 900 centimeters. So I have 4 by 3 into 3 cube equals r2 square into 900. So I have 4 by 3 into 3 into 3 into 3 divided by 900 equals r2 square. So 1 3 gets cancelled. So 3 into 3 is 9, right? So this becomes 100. So r2 square is 4 by 100, or r2 is square root of 4 by 100, which is 2 by 10, or it is 0.2 centimeters. Now if you want the value of the radius of the cylinder in meters, what should I do? So I have to divide this by 100 to get the value in meters. So that's going to be 0.002. I have to add 2 zeros after the decimal point, meters. So next we move on to 5. Problem 34. Solve using graphical method. So we have 2x plus y equals 10 and x plus y equals 6. So to solve it using graphical method, let me just first find out the value of x and y so that it becomes easier. So I have 2x plus y, so let me subtract. I get x equals 4 directly because y gets cancelled. If I put the value of x here, y equals 2. So x is equal to 4, y is equal to 2. Now let me form a table here. So I have x, then I have y, and then I have the coordinate points x, y. So let me consider y equals 10 minus 2x, and here y equals 6 minus x. So this is for y equals 10 minus 2x. So I know that I get the point of intersection. For x equal to 4, I get y equal to 2. I just need to take few other points here. So if x is equal to 0, then what is y? It is 10. So the point is 0, 10. If x is equal to 4, then y is equal to 2. So I get the point 4, 2. Then let me take another point. If x is equal to 6, so 6 into 2 is 12. So y is equal to minus 2. So I get the point 6, minus 2. So we've got 3 points. Then I have y equals 6 minus x. So I have x, y, y. So here again let me consider x equal to 0, y is 6, so I get 0, 6. If x is 4, y is 2, so I get 4, 2. So this is the point of intersection. And then let's say if x is 6, y is 0, so I get 6, 0. So make sure that you take the scale properly. So this is x and this is y coordinate. And then I have the point for x is equal to 0, y equal to 10. So this is 0, 10. And then I have, say, x is equal to 4 and y is equal to 2. I have this point 4, 2. And then for x is equal to 6, I have minus 2. So this is a point here, 6, minus 2. So now I join these 3 points. So this has to be done on a graph sheet. Next, I get x is equal to 0 and then y is equal to 6. So I get 0 comma 6 here. One more point. And then the other point is 4 comma 2. And then I have 6 comma 0. X is equal to 6 and y is equal to 0. So this is going to be the point. So I have one more line. So this is the point of intersection. So make sure that you take the coordinate points correctly and draw it on the graph sheet. So let's move on to problem 35. An arithmetic progression has 37 terms. The sum of the first 3 terms is 12 and the sum of the last 3 terms is 318. Find the first and the last term. Alright, so we know that the first 3 terms, that is a1 plus a2 plus a3, the sum is 12. And the sum of the last 3 terms. So what are the last 3 terms? It is 35, 36, 37. So a35 plus a36 plus a37 is 318. Now what is a1? It is a, plus a2 is a plus d, plus a3 is a plus 2d equals 12. So 3a plus 3d equals 12. So I take 3 common, a plus d equals 12. I cancel it, I get 4. So a plus d equals 4. So this is one equation. Now here a35 is a plus 34d plus a plus 35d plus a plus 36d equals 318. So I have again 3a plus 34 plus 35 plus 36. So I get 105d equals 318. Again I can take 3 common, I get a plus. So this is 35d equals 318. So I can cancel. So this becomes 106. So I have a plus 35d equals 106. This is equation 2. So now I have the two equations. A plus d equals 4. Subtract, a gets cancelled. So 34d equals 102. And I find that 3s are. So d is equal to 3. 34 3s are 102. So d is equal to 3. So d is equal to 3, I know that. So let me substitute the value back here in this equation. So a equals 4 minus d, which is 3, you get 1. So a equals 1, that is the first term. And then I need to find the last term. What is the last term? a37. So a37 is a plus 36d, which is 1 plus 36 into 3. So I get 1 plus 108, which gives me 109. So this is a37. Or I have another problem. The sum of the first 7 terms of an AP is 140 and the next 7 terms of the same arithmetic progression is 385. So we need to find the arithmetic progression. So the sum of the first 7. So I have a1 plus a2 plus a3 plus a4 plus a5 plus a6 plus a7 equals 140. So this is possibly one of the easiest way to do it. So the first term is a, the second one is a plus d, then I have a plus 2d, then a plus 3d plus a plus 4d plus a plus 5d plus a plus 6d equals 140. So a, how many a's I have? I have 7 a's plus, so add up all the d's. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 6, 10, 15 and then 15 plus 6 is 21d equals 140. So I can take 7 common. A plus 3d equals 140. So 7 2s are 14, so I get 20. So a plus 3d equals 20 is the first equation. So similarly the next 7 terms, the sum of the next 7 terms is 385. which means A8, A9, A10, A11, A12, A13 plus A14 is equal to 385. So similarly, let me write what is A8, A plus 7D plus A plus 8D plus A plus 9D plus A plus 10D plus A plus 11D plus A plus 12D plus A plus 13D is equal to 385. Alright, so now again I have 7A, so 7A plus I add up all of them. So 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12 plus 13. So when I add up all of them, what do I get? I get 70D equals 385. So again I can take 7 common. I get A plus 10D equals 385. So again I can cancel 7. So you get 5. 7 5 is 35, I get 355. So A plus 10D equals 55. So this is equation 2. So now bring equation 1, subtract. So A gets cancelled. So 7D equals 35. So what is D? 35 by 7, which is 5. Alright. So D is 5. So if I substitute the value here in one of the equations, A plus 5 into 3 is 15 equals 20. So I get A equal to 5. So A is equal to 5, D is equal to 5. So what is the arithmetic progression? It is 5, 10, 15, 20 and so on. So this is the arithmetic progression. So problem 36. So we need to construct a triangle with sides 4 centimeters, 5 and 6 centimeters. So let's first construct a triangle. So I have 6 centimeters. So I hope you know how to construct a triangle, right? So take an arc of length 4 and 5 and you get the sides 4 and 5. So say this is 4 and this is 5, right? So you cut an arc of length 4 and 5 and you get the triangle. So let this triangle be ABC. The next part of the question is, then another triangle whose sides are 5 by 3 of the corresponding sides of the first triangle. So therefore that's going to be an exterior triangle here. So to find that, what should we do? Draw a line making an acute angle at A. So of course this is not to scale, so I'm just showing you the procedure. So make sure that you draw the construction or do the construction to scale. Take an equal length in your protractor and mark equal lengths, that is A1, A2, A3, A4 and A5. So now what you have to do, just draw a line making an angle acute at A. So using your compass, having a fixed distance, make sure that you draw 5 arcs. So it means A1 is equal to A1, A2 is equal to A2, A3 is equal to A3, A4 and A4, A5. So now this is 3 and this is 2, right? Okay, so now you join these 2 points AB and you extend the line B. So once you extend line B with this same angle, okay, with this same angle, with a line which is perpendicular to A3B, cut an arc and extend it so that it cuts at B dash, right? So similarly, with the same angle here at B, with the same angle here, you extend this line with this angle which cuts the line AC which has been extended, which is C dash, right? So this is how we get the triangle. So now the triangle AB dash C dash and the triangle ABC will be of the ratio 5:3. The sides will be of the ratio 5:3. Now moving on with problem 37. So a tower is made of the shape of a cylinder with one hemisphere stuck on one side and a cone which is stuck on the other side. So we have the total length of the cylinder is 20 centimeters, the diameter is 10, and the slant height of the cone is 13. So we need to find the surface area of the entire toy. So the total surface area of the toy is nothing but the curved surface area of the hemisphere plus the curved surface area of cylinder plus curved surface area of cone. And what is the radius? The radius is nothing but 5 centimeters. So 10 by 2, which is 5. So let me write the expression. The curved surface area of the hemisphere is 2 pi r square. The curved surface area of the cylinder is 2 pi r h. And the curved surface area of the cone is pi r l. So among all these three, what is common? Pi into r is common. So let me take pi r common outside. So I get 2 into r plus 2 into h plus l. So let me substitute the values. Pi is 22 by 7 into 5. So 2 into r is 10 plus 2 into h is 40 plus l is 30. So I get 22 by 7 into 5. So when I add up all of them, you get 50 plus 13, which is 63. And we know that 7 9s are 63. So this is 22 into 5 into 9. 9 5s are 45. So it is 22 into 45, which gives me 990 centimeters square. So this completes all the problems in this section. So you have the last problem, which is problem 38, which is a proof. So prove that the ratio of the areas of two similar triangles is equal to the square of the ratios of their corresponding sides. So this is a 5-mark question. So this proof is there in the textbook. I guess all of you know how to do the proof, so I will not be repeating it once again here. So I hope you have practiced all the problems from all the various chapters. If you want to go through the lectures of various topics in standard 10th, the links have been given in description. Of 10th standard, the links have been given in description. And also if you want to access the question paper, the model question paper 1, I have also provided the link in the description. So make sure that you watch all the other lecture videos if you have any doubts in the chapters. And I hope you have practiced problems from all the chapters and go through the model question paper. So if you have any doubts, visit the solution here and then again try to solve it on your own. So wishing you all the very best, and very shortly in the next video segment I'll be back with the solutions of the second model question paper. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe and press the bell icon to get notifications of further uploads.